coming from turn around upper deck. I'm stood behind you all waving. Hello, Stay Scattery tickets. Hi, welcome aboard. Just to quickly reiterate the most important thing you heard in our safety announcement there. While you are on the upper deck, please do stay seated. We've got our excellent captain Alex in the wheelhouse behind you, steering the vessel. Alex does need to see where he is going. If you're stood up, you'll block his view, and we might get friendly with a few bushes, and we don't want that. So please do stay seated whilst you're up here. However, you do not have to stay up here. I'm aware it's quite cold and damp today. You're more than welcome to take a seat on the lower deck at any point during the journey. Got some nice warm comfy seats downstairs. Also, toilets are downstairs at the back of the boat. We have our bar as well. Do feel free to go grab yourself some snacks, beverages, binoculars,
लाजमा नि डराउने हैन यहाँ कसैले केही भन्नु तिमीलाई यहाँ देखेर नि उता गरेर
my name's Jordan. I'm going to be your tour guide for today.
म के गरौँ
Also joined on board by my colleagues James and Mia downstairs. If you've got any questions, need any help with anything, just come speak to any one of us and we'll do our best to help you out. Okay, lovely stuff. Oh, we do have one more very important rule for you all today, and that is you must wave to all the people on the bridges as we pass underneath.
Okay, very good.
This is the only time in London you can wave at a stranger and get a wave back, so please do make the most of it. And here you go, the first bridge of the day today that we'll be going under is Westminster Bridge, this green bridge ahead of us.
यो वेस्टमिन्स्टर ब्रिज भनेको यसको हिस्ट्री छ
And there are lots of people out and about on the bridge right now, so I'm sure if we cheer and wave as we pass through, we'll get lots of waves to start our day on the way up.
यता हेर्नु आमा
Just bear in mind, if anyone does wave back to you today, they're almost definitely not from London. Definitely tourists.
Let's see how many people waves for me.
Hello, people on Westminster Bridge, give us a wave.
Very good.
Lovely stuff. Lots of friendly faces. How are you?
Woohoo!
So, this very grand building to the right of us is the New Palace of Westminster, more commonly known as our Houses of Parliament.
Yes, मैले भने हैन तिमीलाई Houses of Parliament.
In fact, you might be able to see a few of our politicians in there right now. Do feel free to give them a wave as we go past.
Nobody.
Or any other hand gesture you deem appropriate, I will not judge.
यो यहाँको पार्लियामेन्ट यहाँको सांसद भवन
Now we call this building the New
Or
Palace of
any other
Westminster,
gesture
as there was an old
that
Palace of
you find
Westminster.
appropriate.
The old palace used to be home to the monarchy up until Henry VIII. He moved to the Palace of Whitehall during his reign and handed that old palace over to government. That established the first medieval Houses of Parliament, and they were on this site up until 1834, when the Exchequer at the time thought it would be a good idea to burn 2 carts of tally sticks under the floors of the building. He ended up causing a huge fire, burning almost all the medieval buildings down to the ground. During that fire, the citizens of London all gathered along the other side of the river, not to help, but instead to watch and chant, "Burn Parliament, burn." One man was even arrested for excessive cheering.
Oh my god.
I wonder if the same would happen today. After that fire, we had to have a new Home of Parliament, the one you see today. It was designed by a man named Charles Barry in the Gothic style of architecture, completed around 1858. Now you can see along the balcony here these red and green coloured awnings. You'll also see ahead of us a red bridge, and behind us, of course, there was a green bridge. Now this is no coincidence. We've got a lot of colour coding that goes on in Parliament. It's for the 2 houses within. We have the House of Commons, where all our elected MPs debate new legislature. Then there's the House of Lords. They're selected by the monarch, and it is their job to ratify the decisions made by the Commons.
Okay.
The Commons debate on
लोअर
green
हाम्रो
benches,
प्रतिनिधि सभा
on
राष्ट्रिय
the
सभा जस्तो रहेछ के
Those coloured awnings
दुईटा
represent
कलर्सको
separate
बस्ने
burning
सिट
areas.
हुँदो रहेछ
The
रातो र
coloured
हरियो
bridges were supposedly once their separate entrances. And inside, that colour coding continues. They have separate bars, cafes, bathrooms, and all this separation was put in place to avoid corruption. I will say no more on that. The tallest tower on the building, the one behind us with the flagpole above it, that's the Victoria Tower. It was originally designed as the royal entrance into the building, it's now home to the parliamentary records and parliamentary archives. So we have written records of almost every law from 1400 onwards, kept inside that tower. The pointed tower in the middle of the building is the central tower. This one was originally used for ventilation. acted as a huge chimney to all the fireplaces that originally heated the building. And it continues to allow a lot of hot air today. And finally, the clock tower at the other end, one of our most famous landmarks in London. I'm sure you could all make a guess the name of this tower.
Big Ben.
Big Ben!
I think you will shout. Well, I have to tell you, that is wrong. The tower is not called Big Ben. I know, what a shock plot twist.
No?
No, the name of the tower is actually the Elizabeth Tower,
Oh.
named after late Queen Elizabeth in 2012. Before then, it was just officially known as the Clock Tower. The name Big Ben only refers to the 13-ton bell inside the tower. I would think that name, Big Ben, comes from a man named Benjamin Hall. He was the commissioner of the works when the bell was installed. Apparently, Benjamin was a very loud, round-shaped man, seemingly not very nice to his workers, as they all decided to name their very loud and round-shaped bell after him. Let's just be grateful his name wasn't Richard. A lot of restoration work has recently gone on that tower. Huge restoration project, took over 5 years, came to its completion last November. Yes, it was a huge restoration project. It's looking very shiny and colourful now. After the project, the workers were all very, very tired. But then again, they'd been working around the clock. The joke's not going to get any better, by the way, just to warn you all now. But now, I'll take some time to talk to you all about my employer. That's right, it's the lastminute.com London Eye. The London Eye, standing at 135 metres high, is the world's tallest cantilevered observation wheel.
Oh my god.
Cantilevered means it's supported on just one side, and this is an observation wheel as the pods are on the outside of it. This is not a Ferris wheel. My manager gets very upset when I use the F word. The Eye has 32 pods, one for each borough of Greater London, but don't be confused if you find yourself on pod 33. That's because we've removed pod 13 to reassure any superstitious guests.
Yeah.
The Eye was designed by Marks Barfield Architects, and its design was originally entered into a competition that was held to find a new landmark to celebrate the millennium. And the design for the London Eye came in second place. However, British Airways liked the design so much that they offered to fund it themselves. It cost them about £75 million to build, but made that profit back within the first 2 years.
Oh my god.
And this next bridge we're about to go under is the Hungerford Railway Bridge, a Victorian railway bridge connected to Charing Cross train station on the left. On either side of it, you've got the Golden Jubilee footbridges. These are the newest bridges in the city. They opened in 2002, the year of our late Queen's Golden Jubilee, marking their 50th year on the ground. This area to our right is our South Bank. The South Bank Centre has its origins in the Festival of Britain of 1951, which was intended to be a tonic to the nation after World War II. The main building that survives from that festival is the Royal Festival Hall, huge concert venue there, also home to the London Philharmonic Orchestra. Loads of other arts venues were later added. You've got the Queen Elizabeth Hall, the first celebrating the Hayward Gallery, and underneath the complex here we actually have the UK's very first skateboard park. It's called the Undercroft, opened in the 1970s, and since then it's claimed to be the home of British skateboarding. This next bridge we're approaching is Waterloo Bridge.
Waterloo Bridge,
the Ladies' Bridge. It was built during World War II, while all the men were away fighting. The workforce building this bridge was almost entirely female. It also happens to be the first and only bridge in London to be built on time and under budget.
Oh.
You can draw your own conclusions there. And this next building on the right with the electronic screen above it is our Royal National Theatre. Like lots of buildings on the South Bank, it was built in the brutalist style of architecture. Our new king, King Charles, once described this building as looking like a nuclear power station.
Oh.
I don't think he's a massive fan of brutalism. I do quite like it though, and despite its arguably rather ugly exterior, inside it you'll find 3 beautiful theatres, and you can see loads of great shows there, often before they get a Western transfer at a much cheaper price. So it's a great bargain for any fans of theatre. A little further ahead on the right you'll see a red brick building with white stripes. which, as you might be able to guess, was once owned by the company Oxo. The company that make the stock cubes that are still very popular today. Now, this building was once a meat storage warehouse for Oxo. When you take a look at the tower atop the building, you might think it spells out the company's name. However, I have to tell you that is technically not true. In the 1930s, when that tower was built, skyline advertising was illegal. And so, Oxo were taken to court for building this tower. Fortunately for them, they had a rather clever lawyer who made the argument that they had ordered a random set of geometrically shaped windows. One circle, one cross, and one more circle. And they got away with it. Unbelievable. You know, personally, I think the judge of that case was the pocket of big gravy. He definitely had stock in the company. Over on your left now, you got your first view of St Paul's Cathedral, one of the largest domed cathedrals in the world. And it's actually the 5th iteration of St Paul's. The previous version at its time of construction was the tallest building in the world, but that was burnt down during the Great Fire of London in 1666. This one was designed by a man named Christopher Wren, completed in 1711. It stands at 365 foot tall. That's 1 foot for every day of the year. And tell more about St Paul's Cathedral once you come through these bridges. These bridges that go under are the Blackfriars bridges, and we have 2.5 bridges here. You'll soon see what I mean by that. That name, Blackfriars, comes from a Dominican priory of monks who used to be located on the north side of the river. The monks wore black mantles, gaining the name the Blackfriars. So now if you take a little look to your left and right, you'll see these mysterious red columns. Why are they there, Jordan?
Why?
What is their purpose, I feel will cry? Well, I'll let you ponder on that, and I'll reveal all on our return journey. And we're looking back to St Paul's Cathedral again on the left. You now notice that there are no other taller buildings above it. This is because an old law states that the dome of St Paul's must be observable from 8 key points across the city. Now, some of these key points are quite far away, so it actually explains a lot of those strangely shaped skyscrapers ahead of us. They all had to be built in a way that honoured the protected sidelines of St Paul's. Also, the City of London School here on our left, you notice has this large glass atrium in the middle. That's so St Paul's is observable directly through the building from the river. Coming up on the right, you'll see a round white building with a thatched roof. And that is Shakespeare's Globe Theatre, or rather a reconstruction of Shakespeare's Globe. In 1970, American theatre director Sam Wanamaker came to England and playwright William Absolutely nothing. So he took it upon himself to build this reconstruction. It was completed in 1997, and they used all the same Elizabethan construction methods as the original. So no one actually
यसमा ठिक हुन्थ्यो है जहाजमा भन्दा
green oak wood carved and
यही हो हाम्रो क्यान्सिल
and that is the only
भएको
thatched roof you see in London. That was outlawed in London after the Great Fire. They got special permission for that roof there. Now, the original Globe Theatre would have stood slightly further ahead, roughly where this building site is on the right. It stood there until 1613, when they put on a production of Henry VIII. And they decided to use a live cannon to create the sound effects of thunder. As well, from the cannon, London on the back roof,
London Bridge aisle.
Blaze. You could say it was a performance that brought the house down. Next on the right, you've got this small brick building with red windows. That's the Anchor, one of the oldest riverside pubs in London. There's been a tavern or alehouse there for about 400 years. So that means William Shakespeare would have drank until he was barred.
Lovely.
Famous writers across London's history drank over there too. Dr. Samuel Johnson, who compiled one of the first English dictionaries, drank in there. Charles Dickens, who wrote it during the Victorian era, and diaries of Samuel Pepys witnessed the Great Fire of London from that tavern. Speaking of the Great Fire of London again, if you look to the left, you'll see a golden orb at the top of a tall stone column. That is the monument. It's another designed by Christopher Wren. It was built after the Great Fire of London, both to serve as a monument to the fire and act as an observation platform. That was somewhere where the citizens of London could go up, watch their city regrow around them after the fire. As you may have noticed there, you can still walk the monument today. It's got 311 steps I like to say it's also a monument to the Great Pride because
लन्डन भनेको लन्डनको ब्रिज हो त्यो अगाडिको देखेको छ नि उयो यो हो सबैभन्दा आइकोनिक
it's time for the thing you've all come here to see today, the magnificent, world famous London Bridge. The magnificent, world famous London Bridge is
in front of us. यता हेर्नु मिलाएर राम्रोसँग बसेर यता हेर्नु ट्याक्कै त्यो ब्रिज बाबुले
But don't worry, you get them mixed up. Even Google it, just get it wrong. If you Google London Bridge, it'll just show you pictures of Tower Bridge. Also, the singer Fergie from Black Eyed Peas, remember her? She released a solo single in 2006 titled London Bridge. But in the music video, she's talking the way on Tower Bridge. That's not Fergie. Now, this next thing I want to point out is a little hard to see right now as it is currently in camouflage. But if you look very closely to our right, you may be able to see an 11,500 ton battle cruiser. And this is HMS Belfast. Played a really significant part during World War II. It assisted in sinking the German battleship Scharnhorst, and it was one of the first ships to fire in the D-Day landings. And the guns at the front of the ship could fly a distance of 12 miles, and they keep those guns permanently positioned today. The M1 Gateway service station is Scratchwood. Exactly why we don't know, but sure enough they are. After the war, the government were going to turn the ship into scrap, but the Imperial War Museum offered to buy it instead, offering a grand sum of £1.
Oh.
They were successful in their bid, so it now stands there as a floating war museum. Okay, so we are now approaching Tower Bridge. How exciting. I'll move to the back of the boat so you get a good photo without me in it. So once again, please do stay seated whilst taking your photos. And I'm sure everyone behind you gets a good view. And most importantly, once I'm captured, you can see where we're going. The Tower Bridge, it was designed by Horace Jones, built in 1894. It's a vascular bridge, which means that the two parts in the middle can rise up and open to allow ships to pass through.
यो ठुल्ठुलो पानी जहाज आयो भने यो बाटो खुल्छ यसरी यो
Its opening year, the vasculars are open around 6,000 times. They open far less frequently nowadays. There is an old legend, though, which claims if you wave to the people on Tower Bridge and receive a wave back, you'll earn 5 years good luck for the entire boat. So up and down, give a cheer and a wave right now.
Hello!
See that lady in the middle there? That's Margaret. We pay her £5 an hour to stand there wave back at you all. But that's a real Edwardian legend. As sailors were leaving the city, this is the last bridge they'd come under. And hopefully they'd have loved ones standing on the bridge to wave them farewell. Meaning hopefully, 5 years' time, they'd still be here to welcome them. A little further down the rim, you've got the area of Rotherhithe. For any American friends on board the boat today, that's the part of London where the Mayflower originally set sail, taking the first pilgrims to America. But as we turn around here, it's now where you'll get your photo opportunity of the day. That's right, it's a selfie with me. I'm joking, you don't know. I do, of course, mean a photo of the magnificent Tower Bridge to our left. A really great spot for a photo of the bridge from the river. Just get your phones out, social media apps at the ready. Just do please stay seated on the upper deck whilst taking your photos. If you post any photos on Instagram today, make sure to use all the appropriate hashtags.
यहाँ बस्नु ल बसेरै खिचिदिन्छु म बस्नु त ट्याक्कै निकालिदिन्छु म Yes.
This hashtag will get you lots of likes. Hashtag Jordan is the best tour guide ever. One of my favourite stories to do with the bridge. In 1952, a double-decker bus came along here on a very foggy day. And the bus driver, a man named Albert Gunter, did not see the traffic signal telling him to stop. And as he approached the centre of the bridge, he noticed it was rising underneath him. So Albert had to make a split-second decision. Do I try and come to a stop, or do I speed up? And Albert decided to put his foot down and speed up. He jumped, he cleared the gap in the middle and successfully landed on the other side.
Oh my God.
Everyone survived and Albert was regarded as a hero, saving the lives of everyone on the bus. In fact, one of the passengers from that bus was getting married that year, and they invited Albert to be the best man at their wedding. I think he even drove the bride to the church in his bus. So a happy ending all round.
Seriously?
Now the stonework on the towers of the bridge here is actually purely cosmetic. This is Cornish granite, and it was added over the top of the steel framework, just so the bridge matches the Tower of London here on the right. Now, the Tower of London is one of the most impressive fortresses in the UK. It was established by William the Conqueror, completed by William II in the year 1100, and it's had many functions since then. The tower has been used as a royal mint, an observatory, a zoo, an armory, a palace, and most notorious.
तपाईँलाई मैले देखाएको थिएँ सबै बिल्डिङहरू याद गर्नु भएको देख्नु भएको नि अब
Execution. So if you look to the right here, you can see the words entry to the Traitors Gate over an old bricked up tunnel. Now that is where prisoners used to be taken by a boat into the tower to await their gruesome fate. The wives of Henry VIII, Anne Boleyn and Catherine Howard, they were both taken through that tunnel to be beheaded here. Only royalty was allowed to be executed within the tower's grounds, the small courtesy before their death. But lots more common criminals